Surprise, surprise, guys. I'm not in Vancouver. I'm actually in the Alps, near the Salzburg city, and we're driving back to Vienna. We spent a really good time in Salzburg. It was so fun. I'll leave here some of the videos I made in Salzburg, but today we're going to talk about European roads. This is the car we're driving. This is the Suzuki Swift. This car has only 87 horsepower. It's still a great commuter, even on Austrian autobahns, which have 130 kilometers per hour speed limit. So this is my first time in Europe, and that's why I wanted to make a video about different experience while you're driving in North America compared to Europe, and especially compared to Austrian roads and autobahns. I hope this video is going to be fun. Let's actually jump into the car and discuss those differences. So it's kind of a North American reacting to European roads, good European roads from Austria. Let's go. Yes, this is a manual one. This car only comes in a manual form, or you can go for a CVT, which is not fun. And by the way, I was kind of watching over other people's cars here in Europe, just to double check if they actually drive manuals more. And to my surprise, all of the cars I've seen had a manual transmission in it, which is actually very, very cool. You don't see that much often in North America. So let's actually start talking about some of the differences that I saw right away. I have not driven in any other country rather than Austria, so take this with a grain of salt, but roads in Austria are super, super good. This car has a very short base, so you should not have a really good ride. Since these roads are so good, you don't even notice the imperfections, which is very, very cool. And you actually enjoy it. So this is our exit. This is actually a highway ramp, so we might as well attack it. Let's see. You see, you don't need to have lots of horsepower to have fun. So since we are on the highway, let's actually talk about Austrian autobahns. Again, the road quality is insane, and by the way, really cool 911 here. And it is such an enjoyment to drive on these roads. So I've already made a one-way trip from Vienna to Salzburg this morning, and it was just a breeze, especially with these views. Sorry, it's a little bit dark at this moment, but you're just driving basically in Alps, surrounded by these beautiful mountains. You cannot not enjoy this. Sometimes I cannot believe the beauty of the nature in this part of the world. It just looks so surreal. Even for a person who is from Vancouver, it's in a whole different level in Austria. What I like about autobahns as well is that most drivers follow the basic highway rules that I try to teach and I try to promote on my channel, which is basically stay on the right if you're not passing anyone and only pass people from the left. And pretty much everyone in this part of the world is doing this exact thing, which is so cool and so safer than what I see usually on North American roads. There's so many campers in the left lanes or in the middle lane, which makes driving very, very frustrating and torturous. Let me just quickly talk about this car. It's considered to be a very, very economical entry-level car from Suzuki, but this car has adaptive cruise control. This car has automatic high beams. This car has 9-inch screen with Apple CarPlay built into it, which is wireless, by the way. This is so many good amenities for, I think it's like 19,000 pound car. I feel like we are missing out as North Americans for this type of vehicle. I know it has 87 horsepower and 0 to 60 is around 12 seconds, but I actually haven't noticed this car being not adequate or not safe even driving on Austrian autobahns. You can see we're driving 120 kilometers per hour I'm usually driving like close to 130, it's fine. This car only has 1.5 liter 3-cylinder engine, so it's very, very fuel efficient due to its low weight and just overall great, efficiently built car. It has all physical controls that you want. Clear tachometer, clear speedometer, actually everything that you need. I feel like in North America we forgot about having cars like this so that we just get things that we actually need rather than having, 45,000 average new car price today, especially in these times with car tariffs, with the recession going on. This is what we actually need in Canada and US. So the next thing I noticed, especially in Austria, is that they are enforcing really harshly all of the rules, especially speed limits. So that's why I'm not going over the speed limit usually anywhere in the city or on the highway. On the Autobahn, it's 130 kilometers per hour, so I usually stay around 130. But as you can see, people are actually driving much faster than me sometimes. Maybe they know where speed cameras are situated, or they just live here, so they kind of know. We're not going to test our luck today. When I was growing up, people were telling me that Germans and Austrians are very, very strict with their rules and they like to follow them. So I was thinking going into driving in Austria that all people are going to show their turn signals, every single time. I thought that they're going to leave enough space behind you, enough space in front of you all the time. But as it usually happens all the time, whenever I go to any country I visit, is that people are actually the same everywhere. So even in this country, there's no miracle. You will not see like a very huge difference in driving quality, honestly. So the next thing, a good thing, is driving in the city. Even though you would think that in a city like Vienna, you're gonna see lots of cars, it's not actually the case, because I feel like they did a great job with giving people an opportunity, a choice to either commute by cars or public transport. And most of the people are going to choose public transport. I have a couple of friends in Vienna and they don't have a car because it doesn't make sense. So that leads to a situation where there's not actually lots of cars in the city. I will talk more about driving in the city once we get to Vienna. I just want to show you guys the Vienna at night. I think it's gonna be a great ending to the video, but let's talk more about the Austrian Autobahns. It is such a great experience to pass people on the left and merge again to the right. There was not a single situation where I had to wait for a person camping on the left to go away, to move over. It was always easy. If you want to have a road trip somewhere in Austria, I highly recommend driving here. It doesn't matter from which way you're gonna go into Salzburg, you're just gonna drive in the Alps. And I'm actually taking the Autobahn way, but you can also find some back roads or find some alternative highways, which are probably gonna be more scenic, more twisty. What I liked as well, there's lots of good gas stations, and every single gas station we went to had a separate cafe. What I also found really interesting is that there's so few SUVs in Europe, which is so cool. They have actually lots of cars like this one, small city cars with enough power to get you going in the city, on the highway, with great amenities, even in entry-level cars like the Suzuki Swift. In North America we talk about being friendly to the environment, so we build these huge EV trucks, EV SUVs, which are actually much more harmful to the environment than, let's say, this Suzuki Swift. And yes, it's not an EV, but it's still very, very economical and very efficient. I feel like in Europe, there's such a cool selection of these kind of small cars, which are so fun to drive, especially in manual form. Yeah, you see, it's not lots of power, but it's fun to wind down the engine. And I'm not speeding. The limit is 130 kilometers per hour, so you can enjoy a car, enjoy the engine, and still be fine. Not go to prison. Alright guys, so we are back and we are already in Vienna. Our trip is coming up to its end, so I decided to put an end to my video as well. But yeah, as you can see, it's 11:30 in the evening. The city still is active, lots of people walking, riding scooters. In Europe, it's much harder to drive in the city, especially when you drive a manual. The reason is that, lots of pedestrians at any time, lots of cyclists at any time. So you have to be basically alert 24/7. But still, the roads are pretty nice. Everything is greatly laid out. It's Austria, so what would you expect? So let's see what we can do with this junction. Alright, no cars, no people. Alright, cool. The manual always makes it fun, even in the city. But overall, I enjoyed this trip so much, regardless of my driving experience in here. Just traveling to Europe is so much fun. So I think it is an awesome experience to drive in Europe if you would like to have one. I highly recommend to rent a car in Europe, especially in a city like Vienna. It could be quite fun. This is where my trip ends. And as always, stay safe out there. Keep enjoying the drive, and I'll see you in the next one. I like this color as well. It's kind of light green.